Spain has recently decided to go completely against the grain on its immigration policy compared to the rest of the European Union. While most other EU countries are tightening up their border security and minimizing migrant inflows into their respective countries, Spain has decided to regularize or legalize 500,000 undocumented immigrants currently living in the country, drawing the ire from political parties on the right and even from Elon Musk himself. But how is this decision going to affect a country that is currently grappling with a serious affordable housing crisis and that does have significant economic concerns? Well, let's discuss it. Listos? Vamonos. And so the first topic I'll touch on is to discuss why the current Spanish government has even decided to take this step at all. Well, Spain has one of the fastest aging populations in all of the European Union. The median age in Spain is currently about 46 years old, and it's been going up incrementally year by year, decade after decade. And not only is the population aging over time, but this aging population is actually living longer, which will inevitably put a strain on the social services such as healthcare and the pension/retirement system. And then you tack on the fact that Spain has a very low fertility rate, one of the lowest in the European Union. Current numbers show that women in Spain are having 1.2 babies per year on average, which is below the replacement rate of 2.1 babies per female per year. And so that leaves the country in a pretty precarious position. So not only is the native workforce aging, but it's also shrinking. And so very quickly you can start to see what type of problem is going to arise. Less tax revenue coming into the state, which is going to put a serious strain on social services because how are they going to pay for it? Universal health care, retirement/pensions are all going to be quickly affected. And so I can see what the government is trying to do. They're trying to add 500,000 undocumented immigrants into the workforce, which will inevitably become taxpayers and feed into these social services. Now, this isn't the first time a Spanish government has implemented such a strategy. 20 years ago, a socialist government led by José Luis Rodríguez Zapatero implemented something very similar. They regularized 500,000 undocumented immigrants, and studies have shown 20 years later that that strategy was a success. Spain saw an increase in its tax revenue, an increase in its social security contributions, and an increase in its workforce, which means it was able to aid Spain's economic progress. And that is what the current government is trying to do once again. Now, that is not to say that there hasn't been any opposition to it. Now, the current government that has taken this step is a socialist government. It's the Spanish Socialist Workers' Party, el PSOE, Partido Socialista de Obreros Españoles. And so, obviously, the immediate reaction to this is going to come from the right, the center-right party, the PP, Partido Popular, and the ultra-right party, Vox. Now, they claim that this is a distraction from the current government, that they're distracting people due to the recent railway accidents that have killed a significant amount of people here in Spain. The current government is also dealing with corruption charges by some of the closest members of the party to the prime minister. And so they claim that there is a distraction, right? A diversionary tactic by this current government. The party on the far right, Vox, has even gone on to claim that this is a replacement of the native Spanish people, that they're bringing in people from other countries, not only to bolster the workforce, but also to replace native Spaniards here in Spain. Now, that is a current wave of feeling and sentiment going on in Europe. Being here, living in Spain, I do keep up with the news and what's going on in other European countries. And it's not only happening here in Spain, in Germany, in Italy, in France. There is a significant building up of resentment towards the migration that is going on in Europe. The natives have been leaning more towards right-wing politicians who are pointing out the facts that, the European Union is looking less European. And I know it's something that is very difficult to talk about because nobody wants to seem like they're on the wrong side of history, right? But we can't deny the fact that there are a lot of non Europeans coming into Europe. I mean, myself included, I'm not European. But we can't discount people's opinions and their sentiments and their feelings, especially if they are native to these countries. Those people who call this or call Europe home, right? Whether it be Spain, Germany, Italy, France, England, these are people's home countries. And there's something about your home country that you take very personal. We all have a certain amount of national pride. In the United States, you see people driving in their cars with American flags and wearing them on their clothes. And I see the same thing here. I see people walking around with Spanish flags on their cars, decals or magnets on their cars and on their clothing, on their backpacks. It's normal. I think it's absolutely normal to have a certain amount of national pride because it's our home country. And there's something very special about having a home, right? Your home country is something you're willing to defend. And a lot of people do. A certain percentage of the population will join the armed forces to defend their home country, very much like we defend our home. It's where we live, it houses the people that we love, our communities, and there's a certain pride that goes along with that. And if you start to notice that there's people who are coming into your home country who may not share your same values, whether they be your moral values, your ethical values, it starts to become an issue. I mean, multiculturalism sounds absolutely fantastic. And I love to meet people from different cultures and enjoy their culture, enjoy their gastronomy, enjoy how they live their life, their language, learn from them, absolutely. But it does inevitably become an issue, and there will be some friction when large numbers of people who maybe don't, aside from the fact that they may not speak the same language you do and they may not even look like you do, it's when their values contradict your own. That's when issues really start to arise. If someone comes into your country and they don't maybe have the same respect for women that you do, or the same respect for gay rights that you do, that quickly becomes an issue because if your home country respects women in a certain way, we're a tolerant society about these things or the other, but the people that are coming into your country don't share those same values, it quickly becomes an issue. And so I think that people's opinions, people in their native country should have some sort of say so when it comes to what type of people they allow into their country. I believe so because, I mean, I'm a two-time immigrant. I was vetted twice. When my parents moved from Mexico to the United States, I was a baby, so I had really had no say so in that decision to move there. But I was raised as a resident in the United States. And so when it came to becoming a citizen, the naturalization process I had to do on my own as an adult. And so I had to do everything. I had to do the application, background checks, I took a civics test, a history test, a language test to become naturalized in the United States. And then I repeated the process when we came to Spain. When we came to Spain, we had to submit FBI background checks, we had to submit bank records, financial records. There was quite a bit of steps for us to be able to get residency status here in Spain. Now we're here. And I think that's absolutely fine. I'm not opposed to doing these things because I think people should be aware and people should be comfortable with who's coming into their country if you want a safe country. So this immigration issue is not just a Spanish issue or a European Union issue, it's a worldwide issue. And while most countries are taking on the positions of tightening up border security, minimizing migrant inflows, Spain is doing quite the opposite. It's a very bold strategy, bold in the sense that they didn't take a vote on it. They circumvented the parliamentary process by using a royal decree, which is, it sounds very much to me like it's what they do in the United States called an executive order that the president can use. The current administration of the Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, used royal decree to get this law passed. There was no vote on it. They just decided to implement this, and 500,000 people is quite significant. It's the current population of Spain, I believe, is just slightly below 50 million. I think it might be 49 million or 49.5 million people. So 500,000 is about 1% of the total population. That's quite big. In the ideal situation, these 500,000 undocumented immigrants who are already living here will become part of the labor workforce, will become tax-paying citizens, and will be productive citizens. That is the best situation. Hopefully in 20 years from now, just like the previous time this strategy was taken into effect, the 500,000 undocumented immigrants did prove to be valuable and an asset to society, an asset to the Spanish society. Now, this strategy implemented by the current government has not only drawn the ire of the right wing political parties, but even of Elon Musk himself. He's really dipped his toes into politics, and now he's dipping his toes into worldwide politics. We see him, or I've seen him, I follow him on X, and I see him getting involved in countries all over the world, right? And he's done it here in Spain as well, right? Deliberately attacking the prime minister, calling him a tyrant, a fascist. Now, it's not just Elon Musk hasn't only gone after the prime minister due to the fact that he's implementing this immigration policy, but also because Spain is implementing new laws against social media, not only social media companies, but social media executives. Spain will be banning social media accounts for children under 16 years old, and he is also going to be holding social media company executives accountable for what they call hate speech. And as my personal point of view on this as a two-time immigrant, now, I definitely see the benefit of regularizing 500,000 people if ideally these people were to become productive citizens of a country. And I say that because I know the experience firsthand from my parents. They moved from Mexico to the United States when I was just a baby. I remember where we grew up. I remember our first living conditions when we first moved to the United States. We lived in a very small apartments, not the best apartments ever, definitely not. And then we moved to a little trailer house as my dad was working multiple jobs to be able to gain more money, to be able to make more money to move us up into better living conditions, which inevitably did happen. We moved to better apartment complexes, and inevitably we built our own house, literally built our own house from scratch with the help of friends and family. We were able to purchase land, or my parents were able to purchase land. We all actually put the blocks together, put the roof together, and made the house that my dad currently lives in. But I have seen that progress over time, which I don't believe we would have had the same opportunities in Mexico. I don't know what would have happened if we had stayed in Mexico. But I definitely do know that I wouldn't have had the opportunities that I had growing up. I most likely would not have been bilingual. I might have never learned English if I were still living in Mexico, which it is a huge benefit for me to be able to be bilingual, to be able to speak English and Spanish. The fact that we were all able to be educated. My parents raised 6 kids who have all gone on to be in better financial positions than they were, which I believe is every parent's dream, right? We all want to leave a better opportunity for our children to move up the socioeconomic ladder. Now, if Spain is able to do the same thing for 500,000 people in this with this royal decree, fantastic, because it will change lives. Not only for 500,000, not only for 500,000 people, but potentially way more than that. Because if these 500,000 people are all adults and then they have kids, they procreate, you're changing the lives of potentially millions of people for the better, which fantastic. I mean, what a great way to make society better. And it goes hand in hand, right? It will help these people who are moving into your country, but it also helps the country because this country has a renewed labor force. And these folks hopefully will have a sense of national pride as well growing up in Spain. I know I did. Growing up in the United States, I was happy to be an American. And if you can give that to these folks who are going to be regularized here, fantastic. You know, the younger generation is going to grow up being proud of being Spanish. And so you add to your labor force, you add tax revenue into the state, which then feeds the social services. And so hopefully it's a win-win. And as an immigrant, you have to go in with a certain sense of humility and respect for this country that is taking you in. That has to be said as well. You can't go in, if you want to be better accepted, and this is just my opinion, nobody has to agree with it, it's just my opinion. If you're going into someone's home country, or let's even bring it down to a micro level, if you're going into someone's home, you go in there with a certain amount of respect and humility because they are taking you in. You don't go in there and start setting your own rules and demanding things. That's not the way it works, especially if you want to be accepted. That's not the way it works. If you want to be resented, then do those things. But if you want to be accepted into a society, come in with a certain sense of humility, respect, integrate. And when I talk to people here in Spain, I usually talk to people in my age group or older, right? 40s and above. And that's one thing that I hear a lot, right? When I'm talking to people about when we do get into the topic of immigration, people just want those coming in to integrate well and respect their country. As always, thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And let me know what you guys think in the comments section. As always, thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and let me know what you guys think in the comments section. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hasta luego.